Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. So my usual disclaimer, first and foremost, please, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Do not go searching out anybody that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comments, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. Now, what we're about to talk about, as you guys already saw in the title, happened about a few weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it went viral. You know, like, it had black women all around the African diaspora discussing what he had to say. It's an Asian man, a South Asian man, I think he's Pakistani or Indian, Pakistani, I think, talking about an advice his mom gave him about black women. And he made this video in response to the James and Fuhad situation. If you've not seen that video, that's the video right there. Please check it out after this one. So let me just go right ahead and play this man's video.
Okay, I haven't been on TikTok for a bit, and I noticed everyone was tagging me the whole Andrew Schultz thing about black women. I'll make a different comment about Andrew Schultz and that little rat Akash thing, but I want to say something about black women. And this was my mother, and I God is my witness right now. May the Lord strike me down if I'm lying. My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before we, like, I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal, my older brother going off to the big boy school. And my mum sat us down and she said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman. My mum said this. My mum was...
Wait a minute. The mom gave them this speech when his elder brother was about to go to secondary school. Okay.
Was raised in this country from the age of 6, the UK. She said, look for a black woman. She said, anywhere in the world.
And mind you, sorry, I keep interjecting. This man lives in the UK. He has quite a platform. So that's why I believe people were tagging him in the James and Fuhad situation, because they wanted to hear what he had to say, because James and Fuhad are also, they live in the UK as well. So people were tagging him. And I stated the fact that he lives in the UK to say that they live in the UK, and in the UK you have a variety of black people, right? Like, you have the Africans, you have the Caribbeans, you have the Americans. So the woman just said, look for a black woman. She didn't specify which of the black. So basically that means any black woman from any part of the diaspora. So I think this is why everybody from the African diaspora could talk about this. Let me finish his video.
Anywhere in the world, a black woman will help you. She was never wrong. She was never wrong. But, like,
she's never wrong, meaning he is tested and trusted. Like, he has tried out what his mom said, and he finds out that black women have always helped him every single time.
It's incredible that my mother said that, and I don't know what my mum went through. But I remember seeing photos of my mum in school when she was in high school and stuff, and like, she had loads of black friends and stuff, and they were all black women. Because my mum wasn't a pick me, she only had female friends. And so she obviously felt some protection. And growing up for me, I noticed in my school, it was a very predominantly white school. The black teachers looked out for me. I had a black Jamaican teacher called Mrs. Forrester. She looked out for me. But even outside of school, when I started growing out my hair, it was a black woman that taught me how to look after my curls, what products to use. It's black women that built me up on this platform and got me to where I am. I have to give credit to where credit is due. It was women in general, but black women specifically, who boosted me and told me how pretty I was and how great I was. But I am trying to make a point here, and it's that black women get treated the worst. The worst. Malcolm X said this. He goes, they are...
Nice of you to mention that, because, yeah, even you have benefited from the kindness of black women right from when you were young. And you stated that your mother had the same experience, but yet we still get shitted on over and over.
Unfortunately, they are treated the worst. By the medical field, by the education field, by the police, by everything. Yet they're the ones that give the most love. And for, like, I saw what he said in that post, Andrew Schultz, and like some comments, and it's sad, and it hurts my heart when I think of those things, because I'll tell you right now, it wasn't that long ago, my friend Jordan, who I love and boast about, Jordan's got these, Jordan's family is just... When I was homeless, and Jordan introduced me to his family, they treated me like I was one of them. They didn't even care. They were just like, they treat me like family. It didn't feel awkward. You know when you go over to someone's house and you just sat in the corner for a bit? It didn't feel like that. And I know not all black people are the same. Obviously, I know that. But there's one thing that black people universally have, and that is that beautiful smile and beautiful love that they just give out.
Nice, and you acknowledge that.
But I'm telling you, it's a special feeling. I remember going to Jordan's once, and like I was just heartbroken. His family just like welcomed me, and they were like, "Where's the?" You know what? You know his family said to me? They go. Oh, we got a plate ready for you. And then Jordan's cousin just looks me up and then goes, "You're still skinny, boy." And I'm just like, right, well, yeah, I know I'm home. Just no, I can't sit and not make a comment on this because no, and I know I made a post like months ago about black men, but yeah, just.
So basically, he just commented about a black family as well. So he's testifying not just to black women, but like to the kindness of black people in general, right? But this video is directed to black women.
And go look through history. Go look at what Nina Simone did. Go look at what Doreen Lawrence, Stephen Lawrence's mother, did. Go look at what Betty Shabazz did. Like, these people are just incredible, and we don't give credit where credit is due. We really don't. And I think nowadays we're living in this world where if someone's pretty, we give them credit. Credit for what? They were just born beautiful, but like we don't look at the person's soul. We don't look at like who. We don't look at what people can attribute to life. If we did, we would give Mary C. Cole a huge statue. So that's my 2 cents. And a specific thank you to the Jamaican community, because there was this Jamaican woman who helped my grandmother, and that's a different story. And just black women in general, thank you for everything you've done for me, for everything you've done for my family, and for everything you've done for our people. My people wouldn't have survived in the UK if it weren't for black people standing up for us, coming to the protest for us, protesting with the bus rallies for us. Yeah, I know my history. So thank you.
Okay, so basically this is an appreciation post for black people in general, and then shining light on black women. Okay, so it was received with mixed feelings. People appreciated the fact that he was appreciating black women and pointing out how kind we are and how we ride for everybody, even people outside our community, and for the fact that he also acknowledged that nobody does it for us in return. And then on the other hand, there were people who were like, sir, we understand where you're coming from, but please don't put the narrative out there that when they are in trouble they should come looking for us, because at this point we want to care for ourselves, right? So a lot of people had things to say, and I'm just going to play some of the stitches. Okay,
Ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman. My mom said this.
Being a black woman is such a unique experience. We learn very young that we are at the bottom of the totem pole. We also learn very young that the world sits on our shoulders. Literally, spiritually, emotionally, metaphorically, it sits on our shoulders. And I appreciate this creator making this video. It's very heartfelt. I believe every word of it. And I don't think anything he said is wrong. My husband has this saying, when he wants to not so much disagree, but give nuance. So that video, yes, and we motherfucking tired. I'm tired. Sis, you tired? Right, we tired. It's exhausting being the most disrespected person in this country, being the most overlooked, taken for granted, taken advantage, beat down, beat on, not believed, disrespected, unprotected, unprovided for, sluts, hoes, baby mamas, bitches, skanks, thoughts. And then we gotta be somebody peace. And I gotta raise kids. I gotta keep the house clean. I gotta cook dinner. I gotta do the 15 loads of laundry. Schedule everybody's appointment. It's fucking exhausting. On top of all of that, we gotta save strangers' kids. I'm not saying your video is wrong. I'm not saying a black woman wouldn't help. You're probably spot on. But I want to introduce my followers to a book I read. I read this book years ago. I'm gonna check real quick to see when it came out. Okay, the name of the book is When Chicken Heads Come Home to Roost. It's by Joan Morgan. Came out in 1999. It's a great book, but there's this one specific passage. Feel free to read it. That she talks about the strong black woman trope and how she basically is giving that card back. Like, I don't want it. I am not signing up for that shit no more. That's not who I want to be. Basically, she was decades ahead of soft life era. I strongly recommend reading it. If you can't, go buy it from a black bookstore. But yeah, baby, we tired.
we're tired. We are. A lot of people were saying the same thing. And this whole situation reminds me of another video that I've made that video. I made it a while ago. It's probably up to a year now or so, where a palm-colored woman was filming herself telling her child that if you're ever lost, if I'm not there, you're alone and you need to find me, or you need help, and I'm not there, look for a big black guy. She was sending her little palm-colored baby girl to look for a black man in a time of distress or being lost or whatever. And black men were flattered by that, but black women know how to analyze. I respect black women for that. Black women are like, you're putting a target on our brothers' backs by saying that. Do you know what's going to happen in this country when they see a black man just walking with a child that is obviously not his, who is palm-colored? We already have targets on our backs, our men, as it is. You now want to attach a palm-colored child that does not belong to that man there, to that man. You want to put that responsibility on him. So this is given the same vibe. Like, okay, are black people your help? Are we the help? Are we your safety net? Like, what exactly are we? You look to us for safety. You entrust even your children in our care. But at the end of the day, we're still getting treated like shit. We dare not be at your mercy, because it's not going to end well for us or even our children. Like, what is going on here? This is not symbiotic. It's not, we're giving, but we're not receiving. Okay? Let me play some other stitches.
It's not that I'm upset with Mustafa's mother for making the observation that she made about black women and how protective they are, because it's an observation that she's made probably throughout her life, that she felt so comfortable in trusting the safety of her children in the hands of unknown black women more than anybody else. And that alone represents a positive recognition, a wonderful one even, because a mother, the biggest protector of her child, is willing to entrust his safety, their safety, in the hands of black women, strangers more than anyone else. And that's wonderful. And this recognition could have came from perhaps her observation of black women as being more motherly, more caring, more sensitive or sensible, even more protective, more defensive, more nurturing. All traits that we could actually attach to a mom. And I'm not going to take this to the racial stereotypes of black women being mammies and none of that stuff. What I am going to say is, when you think about a mom or your mother, it is most likely you're thinking about how she has been to you. When you see mothers in cartoon or in media and how they're taking care of their loved ones, especially their children, you think about how good of moms they are, how kind and nurturing and how protective and defensive they are. And there's a sense of gratitudes that come with having this kind of resource, this mother, a resource that we can take and take and take from, but we never really sit down to think about who's giving her. If mom is always there to take care of me, who takes care of mom when she's sick? If mom is always giving to me, who gives her when she needs? And it brings me to those trending videos of Mexican mothers reunited with their own mothers after 20, 30 years of not seeing each other, and how these 40, 50-year-old women would turn back into 10-year-olds. They would come and crawl in their mother's arms, because it is their mothers that could take them back to that state of youthfulness, a nurturing state full of security, unlike what anybody else could give them. And now let's take it back to Mustafa. His mother's observation is not an unpopular one, as it is said by many people. Many people from all ethnic and racial backgrounds believe in that a black woman is the most likely to be honest and kind and nurturing to your kids. That a black woman is also a fortitude with a security blanket, and she's willing to defend you, because she knows what it's like to not be defended, especially when you need help. But even with all of this understanding, we can understand that society has never recognized these things to be true about black women, because society's treatment of black women is quite different from who we believe they are with that understanding. If black women are the kindest, nicest people, why are we not nice to them? If black women are considered caretakers, why don't we take care of them? If black women are securities and defenders, why don't we defend them? For centuries, we've allowed the worst kind of media and understanding about black women to exist and prevail above all else in social media and all sorts of other media, actually. In many of these cultures, bringing a black woman home is actually a big issue. While seemingly talking about black women having a heart of gold and being nurturing and wonderful and nice and caretaking, we seem to describe them as bitter, ugly, and ruthless most of the time we talk about them.
So which is it? Are we angry black women? Are we violent? Are we masculine? Or are we nurturers and kind? Like, you guys should make up your mind. There are just very two opposing stereotypes about black women at this point.
About that. And I know I'm a black woman, but I'm talking from society's standpoint. As a society, we are extremely mean to black women. As individuals, we can be extremely mean and inconsiderate to black women. We don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And yet, despite all of that, many people share Mustafa's mother's belief. And that's not fair. So it's not that I disagree with what his mother said, because it is true. And when I have my little one, I will tell them the same thing. But it's not all too positive of a recognition when you understand that we're being used. is. It's quite almost a parasitic relationship. Because for a lot of black women, most, if not all of the care that they provide to the world is not sent back to them. It's never reciprocated. And because black women know that, most black women know that and understand that, they turn to each other for comfort. They turn into each other for support. And while sisterhood is great, it's wonderful, it's blissful even, one of the principles of this sisterhood exists on the isolation that society has rendered us in. And I think that's why you'll see so many black women make angry videos how they're no longer supporting this kind of stereotype. They're protecting their peace because they're drained.
It's quite sad. So we can't really depend on anyone but ourselves.
If you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman.
So his mama just basically said that black people, black women specifically, are to help. See, the problem is these people been seeing how white people take advantage and use black people for so long that they're like, hey, when it's my turn? When it's my turn to have a black supporting cast? When is my turn to have black help? That's why you have that Mexican dude up here that says, oh, I can't believe black people are asking me, is it safe for black people to move to Mexico? Because he's like, hey, no one could treat you worse than America. And since to his mama, if black women are so phenomenal, so resourceful, so empowering, how come she just didn't tell him, hey, I want you to be with a black woman when you get older? She didn't tell him that because you know the golden rule is you can't mess around with the help.
He just said it. He said it. We're good enough to help you, but we're not good enough to actually sit at the table with you. We're good enough to serve you, to be of service to you, but we're not good enough to stand on the same level as you. You know, that's what he's giving.
It was the
Dear black women, if you're trying to get validation from the people who are oppressing you, you are wasting your time. Every day on TikTok, black women are called aggressive, angry, bitter, strong, masculine. And now, I have nothing against this content creator, but I think it's very, it's ironic that when it's convenient for you, you are now telling that if your child is in danger, you have to look for a black woman. And this content creator is not the first who say that on TikTok. I have even heard white women saying the same, that, oh, if my child is in danger, he or she has to seek and look for a black woman. I'm trying to understand.
But you know, this actually, it says a lot about even them. So you'd rather trust someone from another race to take care of a child, not even your own race. So this woman did not tell her child to look for another Indian or Pakistani or Asian person. He said look for a black woman, because you know black women don't even see color. We are the real definition of we don't see color. We just see that child. We see that human being who is in need of help. You don't even have to be a child. We see that person who needs help, who we can render help to. And I dare say this is why we get taken advantage of. This is why we get shitted on, because they know the kindness of our hearts. You don't even trust your own people. You won't even trust your child with your own people. You'd rather send them to strangers of another race because you know that we're not going to hurt them. So what does it really say about you?
Why would you want your child to get protected or to receive any type of help from a black woman, knowing that she is aggressive, she's angry, she's bitter, she is masculine? White women are supposed to be soft, feminine.
This only goes to show that those stereotypes are lies. Because you won't be sending your child to bitter, angry, aggressive people, would you?
And no, they have all the characteristics of the perfect, the ideal women. The real question is, why? Why you rather get protection from a black woman who is always angry, who is always aggressive, instead of having a white woman? White women are full of love. Why would you seek protection from a black woman who is aggressive and not from a white woman who is supposed to be loving and caring and nurturing?
Just to go off on a tangent here, there's a friend of my husband's who visited yesterday. He lives in the UK, so he visited Nigeria, and I asked him what the life there is like. And the first thing he stated is, "Oh, a lot of people over there are depressed. There's no social life. He doesn't even speak to his neighbor. Nobody cares about you." So that shows the social climate and the way these people think, like the human interaction, how they are over there. So that is why they know that their people won't even look out for their children if shit goes down. It has to be black people. Now, in stark comparison to we over here, I went to the market the other day and I had my baby on my back. You guys know the way we do the whole African baby back. I backed my baby. So I went to the market, and before I take a step from here to there, before I take 3 steps, there's one woman that's like, "Oh, how is my baby?" They don't know me. "How is my baby?" "Oh, okay. Sister, adjust your baby's neck." "Oh, sister, it's about to rain. Do quick with whatever you have to get on the market so you can leave, so that the rain doesn't beat your baby." Then it started drizzling. I had my umbrella down. They're like, "Oh, please come." I was trying to rush out of the market, and they're like, "Oh, please come. Let me help you adjust your baby. Do you need me to help you hold your bag?" Do you guys see the difference with black people and palm colored people? I'm just trying. We have a saying over here that "Nani ofonye mumwa." You understand? It's not, a child doesn't belong to just one person. A child belongs to the whole community. Everybody's gonna, if they see you handling a child or not taking proper care of a child, everybody's going, they're ready to beat you up. Men and women alike, everybody knows what it's like. If an elderly person is about to cross the road or whatever, we are going to leave everything we're doing and help that person. That is just the spirit of community. That is the kindness of black people. That is the heart of black people. So do you think these other people don't know that? That is why they keep sending our children to us. And even if you're not a continental African, if you're a diaspora black person watching this, it extends to you as well, because in your blood, you are African. You are African. That communal life, that kindness, that spirit of, care and nurturing is still in you. Even if you're not on the continent presently, it does not matter. We all have it, and they recognize that and they take advantage of it. Yet they do it while also pushing negative, opposing stereotypes, contradictory stereotypes about us. Like, you guys should make up your mind. Are we good people or are we bad people?
Recently, a South Asian man from the UK came on here and he said that his mom told him that anywhere he's in the world, if he needs help, find a black woman. And there are hundreds of women who took it as a compliment, rightfully so, because that's their right. And they're being called mammies and whatnot by another demographic of black women. And while that is their right not to feel that it's a compliment because of their lived experience and their relationship with their blackness and how they exist within their society, I'm not here to undermine that. But I'm here to speak to the women who are being called mammies. You're not wrong for taking it as a compliment, because not all of us have the same lived experience. Not all of us grew up in oppressive societies. Not all of us see helping as a burden, right? I can speak for myself. Growing up in the Caribbean, growing up as a Dominican woman, there's never been a time where my kindness was gendered, where kindness is gendered, where help is gendered. The men help just as much as the women. There's not this overwhelming burden on the women to be good people. I've never not felt supported by the men in my society. I've never not felt protected by the men in my society. I can depend on the protection of the men in my society. There are many times when I've seen certain things happen, I'm like, West Indian men would never just stand by and let this happen. Those of us who did not grow up in individualistic societies, we don't see help as a burden. We don't keep a tally. We don't see it as something transactional, because it's not just us doing it, it's the society doing it. So I help you, you help me. It's just part of being a good neighbor. It's part of being a good person. And we are allowed to have that attitude towards helping, because 9 times out of 10, when we look around, we're helped every single day. Like, I grew up in a community where if you don't have food today, you can tell your neighbor and they'll give you food until your paycheck comes. Or if you can't get to work because you're low on cash, you can talk to the bus driver and be like, okay, at the end of the month, I'll pay you back, and they'll drop you to work every week. Or you can go to somebody and be like, hey, I'm low on cash. Can I catch a ride with you this week? And they'll bring you to work every day. Like, we're not deprived of support. So therefore, the idea of depriving other people of support is kind of weird to us. So you don't have to feel bad because you took what he said as a compliment. Okay, the women who aren't taking it as a compliment is because there's imbalance in their lived experience, not through any fault of their own, just because they live in an oppressive society. They have not been helped. They have not been supported. They have not been given what we have. So therefore, they can't take these things as a compliment the way that we do. So while I will not discredit their experience, because it's very real and it's very hard to watch, and I wish they had a different reality, but we shouldn't be made to feel bad because of ours and our responses, because we are able to hear these words differently. So it's hitting our spirit differently.
So definitely what she's saying makes sense, because in different parts of the diaspora, we've had different levels of interaction with these people. Our societies are different. The experiences of people that are in predominantly black areas that are used to this communal lifestyle and used to helping, not withholding their help, is different from our brothers and sisters that live in predominantly white, countries where it's about being taken advantage of. It's not about, having help and receiving help in return. It's always one-sided for them. So of course they will interpret what he said in a different way than someone who comes from a predominantly black country where they have a communal lifestyle. Yeah.
Differently. I'm not saying that there aren't any, issues and nuances within our society, but as a whole, historically, we don't exist in a space where we are not also given help and support. To my sisters who saw that as a compliment, hands off to you. Don't feel bad. Being kind feels good to me. Being unkind makes me sick because it's not me. And nobody and nothing, not history, not anything will cause me to not be me. And don't let anybody bully you into thinking it's cool to be unkind when that's what you want to be.
So now when I look back on the mommy stereotype and the history of, mommies and how they had to care for masters' children and at the own expense of their children, I can understand why when they see anything that remotely sounds like the whole mommy archetype, it can be offensive because it actually hurt our people. It hurts those mothers to not be able to care for their children while they were forced to care for other people's children. So I can understand wanting to detach from that because that's relieving trauma. It's traumatic. But I also want to urge our, African American sisters who their history had the whole mommy archetype thing, had the whole mommy thing going on in history, that do not let that deprive you of your humanity or your kind heart. If you can offer help, do offer help. It doesn't matter if it's someone from our race or someone else of a different skin tone. If you're led to help, if it touches you in your heart, don't withhold that help whenever you can. You're paying it forward. Just do it, but don't do it at your detriment. Times are different. Your child doesn't have to suffer because you're taking care of someone else's child. Don't do it at your expense, but if you can, just do it. I want to know what you guys think about this whole thing, the whole conversation, and the mommy archetype as well. And, the fact that a palm color person has said this before in the other video, just like I said, and now an Asian person. So I think generally a lot of black people even confirm that, yes, people always come to them for help. People always come to them for help. Amidst like a crowd of people, they will come straight to them for help. So obviously this thing is true. Have you experienced it before? Let me know in the comment section. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.